The bold and beautiful spoilers reveals that Deacon Sharp is very confident in the plans he has created. Deacon thinks that with just a few small effects, reuniting with his daughter and returning to his beloved ex-wife will quickly reap the rewards at the same time. Looking at the way Hope Spencer was overjoyed when she heard that her father was released from prison, as long as he expressed his desire to move back in with her, Hope would do anything to bring him back, even if he had to fight her stepfather. If you weren't following the story from the start, are you thinking that Hope is just an impulsive little girl? And the truth is no. As of now, this girl is 30 years old. Look, Hope is married, and every morning she's got to get up early to cook for her 2 little girls. Ridge himself is a person who lives for the present and the future. As for Ridge's opposition to Deacon and Hope's reunion, it was simply because in his eyes, he looked at Hope like Brooke Logan Forrester when he was younger. As for Ridge, when he heard Deacon wanted to return and saw Hope's expression filled with joy, he became anxious and sensitive to everything. Every little action that happens for whatever purpose, Ridge always thinks Brooke is betraying him, and she wants to get back with Deacon. Obviously, that fear would be the same for anyone in such a situation. It was just too great, making Ridge increasingly irrational and determined to prevent Hope from being reunited with Deacon. Along with men, Ridge claimed to understand Deacon's human nature very well. Ridge knew that Deacon's prisoner was acting pitiable on the surface, using that excuse as missing his daughter and wanting him to reunite with her. But deep inside, it was clear Deacon was using that excuse as a thread, tether and drag Brooke into the trap. However, that truth is only what Ridge wrote in that letter to deter Hope. While Deacon is more discerning and always finds the right path for himself, Ridge himself is the opposite. Ridge should have understood that Hope had not been living with her father for a long time. So now the father had appeared standing in front of her eyes. Why couldn't he be united with her father? Instead of finding a compromise of Hope, Ridge foolishly ordered her to choose between staying or leaving when he himself had no standing here. Perhaps this anxiety made him blind and forget that Brooke is Hope's mother and the owner of this house. There are many ways to deal with this story more smoothly. For example, Deacon was only allowed to see his daughter and play normally while Ridge was busy with work and not at the house. If that wasn't enough to dispel Ridge's suspicions, Brooke would limit or even cut off contact with Deacon for him. With such a compromise, it was clear that Ridge had nothing to worry about, and if Ridge had been sane enough to come up with that, he might have earned more respect on the part of people. All of the above, no matter how good it is, it's only if, looking at the present, Ridge's out-of-control behavior has successfully created the perfect role for Deacon, the poor father who wants to live with his daughter but has to see other people's faces. In fact, what Deacon described above is quite similar to the truth. Before taking the crime of prison, Deacon made a promise to Hope that if he ever gets out of prison, remember her to meet at Brooke's cabin. Because of the name of a prisoner, fans also know that in the past, the Brooke and Ridge family, along with Hope's husband Liam Spencer, gave Deacon a disdainful look. They thought Hope was too immature. When going to believe the word of a prisoner, those words caused great damage and carved into Deacon's barren heart, so he really did not expect to see those people again on the first meeting with his daughter. As for Brooke, seeing that Deacon once had a wild soul and now became more mature for a moment, Brooke thought that she could see the will to goal of being a good father, and ready to face reality continued to improve Deacon's self. From the beginning, Brooke supported and happily agreed with Hope when she expressed her desire to reunite with her father, but seeing the person Deacon is now has a lot of influence on her thinking. Sometimes Deacon has to thank Ridge a lot because Ridge's irrational actions make the chain of trust that Hope and Brooke have in him. This helps Deacon be more confident in himself and find a ray of hope in the future.